What's up, everyone, and welcome back to ClearTalk. So in this video, we're going to be talking about, the event that happened this weekend, that's taken over the news, and that is the White House Correspondents' Dinner, in the potential assassination attempt on President Donald Trump again. This will be the third time. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to look at the footage. We're going to go over some details of the assailant, and talk about what I think about it all. So thank you very much for joining me here on Clear Talk. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you'd like to check out more videos from the channel, please do so. Consider subscribing, like, share, comment, all that good stuff to get more videos in front of more people. It's free for you. Helps out me and the channel tremendously. If you'd like to check out videos from my other channels, you have JMDPLAY puzzling there. If you like what you see over there, consider subscribing to those as well. That would be amazing. Again, free for you, helps out those channels tremendously. If you want to go further, Patreon there, $2 a month. You can support any of the channels that you would like to help grow those channels, to help grow Patreon, to help grow JMD Nation, and contribute to that growth how you would like to. Any type of contribution or support you give is very much appreciated, and I thank you very much. And it would help to continue and keep all these channels going, because that's very much going to be needed. So, and if you're returning, you are freaking amazing. You're amazing. Welcome back. Keep coming back, because you're what makes JMD Nation. Okay, so we have this is an annual thing, right? The White House Correspondents' Dinner is usually where they, the White House comes in with the press. It's about freedom of speech, and in that, usually the tradition was to have like a comedian there, and that way is kind of, and they're kind of roasting and riffing off of each other. The comedians get involved. A lot of times even, the president, a couple of, they all kind of get up there and make jokes and have fun. It's supposed to be a fun time, just, to not really take it necessarily seriously. And it kind of bridged that gap between politics and or your politicians and the press, because sometimes there can be some very much heatedness there. With this administration, there's been a lot of heatedness. But Trump, back in his first administration, kind of cut that off. He did not attend any of the Correspondents' Dinners whatsoever during his first administration, and this was to be his first time attending. Although this time, though, there was to not be a comedian. There was to not be any roasting, because apparently he's a little too weak for that, I guess. I don't know. He doesn't like people making fun of him or roasting him in any kind of way. I don't know. That just seems to be the reason. Instead, there was like a magician that was the entertainment for this year. But that was the way that they got him to come there. The whole cabinet was there. Everybody was there. All the press, you name it, they were all there. So what happened, though, was as they were preparing and getting ready, people were coming in. I don't even think they had really gotten into any events yet. It was only like 15 minutes or so into the thing. The magician was doing a couple of little things, I guess, just everybody getting kind of comfortable and sitting down. And then all of a sudden, you hear gunshots ring out, people startled, chaos ensues. They escort everybody out one by one. All the cabinet members and stuff like that, important, like the president, vice president, so on and so forth, out. The assailant was captured, and yeah, that's basically what happened. Then you had everything that fell into place after that. So we're going to go real quick. I've got the C-SPAN sort of moment here where, again, this was the magician. He was doing a little, I think It was said that he was trying to unveil the name of Caroline Levitt's baby. He was like guessing the name of it. I assume she's already named the baby before it's here. Already come up with a name, and so he was trying to guess it. That's what reports are in this moment. And so as he's revealing it, it happens at the exact same moment as the gunshots are apparently ringing out. And so there's this confusion of whether, anyway, it's just, we'll just go through it. Let it play. Okay, so you see there was some surprise there as he's unveiling. There's some kind of a quick, immediate, somewhat of a reaction to it. This is the like head. I don't know her name, Wu or something. I can't remember the first name or something like that. She's like the president of the Correspondents Association. And that's the reason why she is there. She apparently gives an initial kind of shock reveal of the name. I don't really know how she would have even seen it at that moment, but whatever. But she seems initially shocked or whatever. Caroline seems kind of have a laugh, but you see immediately Melania has this startled look to her face, which Trump, in his little 60-minute interview, initially said that her startle was because she was shocked that the magician got the name right. But then once the interviewer questioned on her surprise towards the shots, he then goes on to say, well, yes, she was surprised by that, and acts like the surprise was that. So it's very conflicting there on him. But there was other also things that he said that was quite conflicting as well. So, but you see her shocked there, and then everybody else sort of follows suit there. This lady here immediately hears. You see a quick change in her. Anyways, this is the moment, and Trump doesn't even seem startled at first whatsoever. He doesn't even seem like he knows what's going on. Completely clueless. You see Caroline and Melania getting down. Now Trump's getting down. Right before that, JD Vance is over here. He gets whisked off really quickly. Like he's the first one that's darted out. He just grabbed up and basically thrown out the back door. But then you have a number of the response team come in to get in front and protect Trump. He stumbles, falls. They get him back up and then continue on out. And then they're kind of locking down the area. You have people getting in, I think they were starting to identify other cabinet members like Stephen Miller, Patel, Hegseth, all those try to work their way out. But everybody else is pretty much just down, hunkered, around the chairs, around the tables. You have some that seem bold enough to record. Think it's funny, apparently, down here. I don't know why they would think it's funny. But yeah. Here you're seeing, I think it's Stephen Miller was being, and his wife was being moved out this way. Here, this was RFK being escorted out and over, his wife to follow. A lot of people have commented about he didn't even secure his wife. The security did get her. I mean, they did pull her after they got him down on the steps. They did grab her and pull her down. But there was, the argument that he, doesn't care about his wife. I don't know, whatever. I don't know the dynamic there. And it just in this moment, the immediate thing is to get the official out, and to assist anyone related, after. It's just a chain of command there. Yes, you would argue that the man should want to make sure his wife is protected or whatever. Interesting enough, Stephen Miller kind of did that, but also people are saying that he was using her as a shield. I mean, either way. So one way is argued either. I don't care about people are trying to get out. They're moving people. The security's doing what they can to get people out. Even when it come to Hexeth and his wife, they walked right after these walked out. They just walk right in the middle of everything. He wasn't even trying to protect her. She didn't seem scared either. He didn't seem that scared. He acted like he was going to try to figure out what was going on. I don't know. So I guess it depends upon who is considering what a threat level, and either way, that none of that really, I think, matters in the grand scheme of it. But yeah, this is basically what's going on. All right, so yeah, I don't know if there's much left there, or unless they do show. Yeah, here's Pete Hexeth, his wife. This is the wife, him going through. They seem to go in completely opposite direction. Not sure why. That one was a little weird to me. Anyways, all right. So yeah, as we said back here, the president is kind of removed fairly quickly. Well, JD Vance first. When asked, because people have been saying that the president was trying to kneel down to get Melania up because Melania fell, and that's the reason why he went to his knees to help her up. That apparently is complete BS, and that's been floated from the right like crazy to negate Trump just falling. Now, in the 60-minute interview, Trump claimed that they told him to get down, and that so he went to his knees to get out, and that's what he was told, so that's what he did. But it doesn't really seem like that was the case here, because even once he fell, they immediately got him back up on his feet and then continued out. So to tell him to get down just to turn around and pick him back up doesn't make a lot of sense either. So I feel like he was just trying to protect the fact that he fell, and whatever. And in that moment, there's a very good likelihood that he did fall. They're trying to rush him out. He's an old man. Doesn't have good ankles. Apparently, we've even seen him sort of laggy on one of his legs here the past few months. So there's a very good chance that he did stumble. He's not meant to move that fast. It's easy to fall or to lose your balance in that moment, especially when you've got people pushing you out damn near. It should have been easily just to say, yeah, I fell because we were rushing out and I lost my balance. But he doesn't want to sound or feel like some kind of weak man, so he just, they told me to get down. Whatever. It is what it is. It's neither here nor there. But he got out. You have Trump has released on his Truth Social, and it's been everywhere else as well, the surveillance run for the surveillance camera footage of the to-be shooter, whatever, coming through. And here's where it starts. He runs from this area over here quickly through, so fast that these security personnel could barely respond. They pulled guns. There was potentially shots fired. One thing for me is that, of course, this is a recording of a screen from another screen, like a camera, like a phone camera recording a screen from a monitor. But even so, this is wild to me that this is the footage. Like, you can't, in 2026, you don't have any better camera quality in your quote unquote areas of concern than this. This looks like cameras from like 2000 or something, like 2005. I don't understand why there's such horrible camera quality here. But again, also, there have been a whole lot of reports around the fact that the security was so loose on the hotel to begin with. Most people have laid out that, in an event like this, you have layers and layers of security that you often have to go through. Even from the press, people that are approved to be there, they still have to go through multiple layers usually. And even in this, hotel like this, where you potentially would have people, regular residencies, and the moment of that, the hotel would be in lockdown, basically, a lot of times. And there would be levels of security starting from outside the building, getting in, right? Before even getting to the lobby area, to getting down into the terrace and to the ballroom area, because it's like levels. You have to go down an escalator, basically. Yeah, the way my understanding of the layout is, and but from what reports are being said by multiple people, is that there was no security basically until you literally got into the lobby area before going into the ballroom. No IDs were being checked, no metal detection, literally until you were right there to get in, where you then checked for your clearance and ID or whatever. Like, there was no protection coming into the building, which even in Cole Allen, who is the guy that was the potential assassin, he in his quote unquote supposed manifesto even states the security was terrible. And so this again breaks down this is the third time. This is the third time that this has happened. And so you really have to start questioning. You really have to start questioning the choice and security around the president and everybody else. I mean, especially when especially as controversial as you are. And it's not like Trump doesn't know he's controversial. He even stated it pretty much in the 60-minute interview. That you would not have higher security after the first attempt. Although it's crazy enough, one of the people that were in charge of that event was promoted after the fact to like head of the security or whatever. I mean, you're not after the failures. After failing, these people were failing upwards. And to have very lax security on an event like this, where you have not even just the president, but every single member, a whole line of succession, all the cabinet members, all kinds of press, everybody, even celebrities sometimes come to this. Like, there's loads of people here, and you have that lax of security. Again, there's been multiple people that stated how lax it was. That to me is pretty wild. This is kind of a somewhat of I don't know exactly how accurate this is, but this is kind of a thing here stating that the suspect was ran through the back from the backside of the lobby area, coming through, passing the security checkpoint, headed towards the elevators or escalators that would go down towards the lobby ballroom area, and this is where he was apprehended. Was at the top of the escalators. Of course, you had the bar. I don't know how the escalator. I think they come down from this area. Maybe I'm not exactly sure. You had President chained out or escorted out this way. Vice President escorted out this way, from the back side of the ballroom area. So that's a quick little layout there. I'm not sure exactly how accurate that is, but it's sort of giving a rough draft of how that happened. There have been people stating that he was in some sort of makeshift area where that's reportedly where he put together his makeshift shotgun. Of course, apparently he also had a pistol and a knife or so on his person. The shotgun was the main weapon that he used. Reports are saying that he was shooting kind of erratically or whatever after he came out of that area and made his run. One of the agents were hit in the chest. Of course, he's got bulletproof vest on, so he was protected, and reportedly has no injuries. There was reports of different amounts of shots. I think early reports were stating like around 5 to 6. There have been statements from 3 to 8, and nobody really agreeing on what was the suspect, what was the security and agents firing. Either way, whether it was 2 or 3 shots or 8 or 10 or 15 shots, nobody got hurt. I mean, the one guy that got shot in the vest, but like the suspect did not get shot. There were early initial reporting saying that he was killed, but then it quickly come out afterwards that, oh no, never mind, he's alive. They have him in custody. There were video footage, pictures showing him head down as if he was like knocked out, but then there's other video of someone across that shows, for me, at the very end of the video, it even showed him moving his head. So he was not knocked out, or at least if he was, it was temporary. So that is what is going on. What's happened? And again, he didn't get shot. There was no visible blood. So either there was some high incompetence on his part, or also the agent's part. Like nobody, all these shots, supposed shots, and nobody got killed. Nobody got majorly injured. Even him not getting injured. It's kind of wild. They have the manifesto was released afterwards, as well. Like within an hour, within less than an hour, we were having his name, basically damn near a whole breakdown of him. He apparently used a train, which that was later on. They said that he traveled by train to Washington from Los Angeles, or it was from California to Chicago, and from Chicago to Washington, D.C. Because apparently on a train, There's not really that much of a security like protocol that of bag checking or anything like that. So that was the easiest apparently way for him to travel with weapons, because air flights you would have to basically state and register that you've got a weapon on the flight and all that kind of stuff. So he wouldn't be able to get it passed. But so he traveled by train all the way there. Somehow he books apparently the hotel in early April, just a few weeks ago apparently, and able to book it and then come in. He is staying in the same hotel, and so he's there. He's there on location to enact all this, and no security caught or found anything. Because there was such lax security. They said basically the whole hotel was just free running, and you didn't have any security literally until you got right to go into the ballroom. I mean, that's just crazy. That's just absolutely crazy. We have the manifesto. I will blow this up. Now, this was reportedly emailed, that he emailed this to friends and family like minutes before enacting his run and doing the act, which gives, and this manifesto gives a full reason why, who the targets were, and everything. So he says, hello, everyone, or everybody, sorry. So I may have given a lot of people a surprise today. Let me start off by, I may have given, it's like he knows, like this was meant to be seen after he's done it. It's kind of weirdly written. The whole thing is kind of weirdly written, in my opinion. So I may have given a lot of people a surprise today. Let me start off by apologizing to everyone whose trust I abused. I apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for, quote, most wanted. That one for me almost immediately throws the rest of this out. Something about that line doesn't make a lot of sense unless this guy has some sort of dark humor that I don't know about. But that just seems like a very weird line to me. And as soon as I saw that line, I was like, this can't be right. This can't be a genuine manifesto. But we'll continue on. I apologize to my colleagues and students for saying I had a personal emergency by the time. This one is also a little weird. And in parentheses says, by the time everyone reads this, I probably most certainly do need to go to the ER, but can hardly call that not a self-inflicted status. Again, very weird thing to say. I apologize to all the people I travel next to, all the workers who handle my luggage, and all the other non-target people at the hotel who I put in danger simply by being near. I apologize to everyone who was abused or murdered before this, to all those who suffered before I was able to attempt this, to all who may still suffer after, regardless of my success or failure. I don't expect forgiveness, but if I could have seen any other way to get this close, I would have taken it. Again, my sincere apologies. On to why I did any of this. I am a civilian of the United States of America, but my representatives do reflect on me, and I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. And then in parentheses says, well, to be honest, completely honest, I was no longer willing a long time ago, but this is the first real opportunity I've had to do something about it. While I'm discussing this, I'll also go over my expected rules of engagement, preferably in a terrible format I mean, probably in a terrible format, but I am not military, so too bad. It's very, again, very weirdly stated. Administration officials, not including Mr. Patel, which is also, again, a weird thing. Like, why Patel? Patel is damn near just as guilty as any of the rest of these. So why would he point out not Patel? That one is also weird. They are targets prioritized from highest ranking to lowest. Secret Service, they are targets only if necessary and to be incapacitated non-lethally if possible. AKA, I hope they're wearing body armor because center mass with shotguns messes up people who aren't. Again, weird thing. Hotel security, not targets if at all possible, aka unless they shoot at me. Capitol Police, same as hotel security. Hotel employees, not targets at all. Guests, not targets at all. In order to minimize casualties, I will also be using buckshot rather than slugs. Less penetration through walls. I would still go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary, on the basis that most people choose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor and are thus complicit. But I really hope it doesn't come to that. Just a very, very weird. Objection 1. Then goes into objections and rebuttals. Like he's answering questions that would be asked to him. As a Christian, you should turn the other cheek. Turning the other cheek is for when you yourself are oppressed. I'm not the person raped in a detention camp. I'm not the fisherman executed without trial. I'm not a school kid blown up or a child starved or a teenage girl abused by the many criminals in this administration. Turning the other cheek when someone else is oppressed is not Christian behavior. It is complicity in the oppressor's crimes. I honestly cannot argue against him here. He is actually quite correct in this statement, if he actually made this statement. Now, there have been people, including the president, who has stated that this is anti-Christian. This is not anti-Christian. If anything, this is pro-Christian. This is arguing against what he would be considering not Christian enough. The what would Jesus do kind of argument. I don't know. This is not anti-Christian. I don't see that in this at all. He's actually arguing what a real Christian would do, not turning the other cheek when you could do something about it. Although, I would argue what could be considered anti-Christian is the fact that he chose violence to do so. Or at least in the question of what would Jesus do, I wouldn't say that Jesus would choose violence. This is not a convenient time for you to do this. I need whoever thinks this way to take a couple minutes and realize that the world isn't about them. Do you think that when I see someone raped or murdered or abused, I should walk on by because it would be inconvenient for people who aren't the victim? This was the best timing and chance of success I could come up with. Objection 3, you didn't get them all. Rebuttal, gotta start somewhere. Objection 4, as a half black, half white person, you shouldn't be the one doing this. Rebuttal, I don't see anyone else picking up the slack. Yield unto Caesar what is Caesar's. The United States of America are ruled by the law, not by any one or several people. In so far as representatives and judges do not follow the law, No one is required to yield them anything so unlawfully ordered. I would also like to extend my appreciation to a great many people since I will not be likely to be able to talk with them again. Then, interestingly, he says, unless the Secret Service is astonishingly incompetent. Thank you to my family, both personal and church, for your love over these 31 years. Thank you to my friends for your companionship over many years. Thank you to my colleagues over many jobs for your positivity and professionalism. Thank you to my students for your enthusiasm and love of learning, because he was also a teacher. Thank you for the many acquaintances I've met in person and online, for short interactions and long-term relationships, for your perspectives and inspiration. Thank you all for everything. Sincerely, Cold Force Friendly Federal Assassin Allen. P.S. Okay, now that all the sappy stuff is done, what the hell is the Secret Service doing? Sorry, gotta rant a bit here and drop the formal tone. Okay, so now he's talking about the security of the place. Like I expected security cameras at every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. What I got, who knows, maybe they're pranking me, is nothing. No damn security, not in transport, not in hotel, not in the event. Like, the one thing that I immediately noticed walking into the hotel is the sense of arrogance. I walk in with multiple weapons and not a single person there considers the possibility that I could be a threat. The security at the event is all outside, focused on protesters and current arrivals, because apparently no one thought about what happens if someone checks in the day before. Like, this level of incompetence is insane, and I very sincerely hope it's corrected by the time this country gets actual competent leadership again. Like, if I was an Iranian agent instead of an American citizen, I could have brought a damn Magdous in here and no one would have noticed shit. Actually insane. Oh, and if anyone is curious as to how doing something feels like this feels, it's awful. I want to throw up. I want to cry for all the things I wanted to do and never will. For all the people whose trust this betrays. I experience rage thinking about everything this administration has done. Can't really recommend it. Stay in school, kids. So this is the supposed manifesto of Cole Allen. Again, I find it, some things said in here very weird. Doesn't make a lot of sense. With some weird, like, either dark humor or just written by someone that would be just making this up. You know, the kind of rhetoric the kind of shit that someone like Pete Hegseth would have come up with. Like the most wanted thing, you know, like trying to be funny or something. He didn't think he was going to be found in the most wanted. You know, that kind of, it's so weird. And even in this, you know, I probably most certainly do need to go to the ER because, you know, not self-inflicted stabs. Like it's like realizing realizing he's about to do a criminal act and is even being humorous about it. Kind of weird, but okay. Lays out his targets, which is the administration, although weirdly not Mr. Kash Patel. That one still don't understand. And then gives his rebuttals, makes his apologies, talks about the security being shit. Yeah. That's pretty much what has happened. This would be switch over. This is him at laying down. Again, this was shared by Trump on Truth Social. Again, here. and it's been shared everywhere else. But reason why I did that, was to also show this. So the first thing he does immediately is he has a conference after being whisked from the hotel back to the White House. They have a conference, emergency conference, media press release, where he, in talking about the situation, immediately invokes that this is the reason why we need a ballroom. And then turns around and posts it when he gets the chance on True Social. What happened last night is exactly the reason that our great military, Secret Service, law enforcement, and for different reasons, every president for the last 150 years have been demanding at large, safe, and secure ballroom be built on the grounds of the White House. This event would never have happened with the military top secret ballroom currently under construction at the White House. It cannot be built fast enough. While beautiful, it is very highest level security feature. There is plus. There are no room sitting on top for insecure people to pour in, and is inside the. Again, that was your fault. For you to have not secured the hotel room down is your fault. It's the fault of your security. It's the fault of the Secret Service. It's the fault of the whole setup. It's like you quite literally were giving the opportunity for that to happen, or giving the excuse for why that opportunity would happen. We lax the security so much that something like this happened, but there would be no other way to do it. Crazy. And is inside the gates of the most secure building in the world, the White House. The ridiculous ballroom lawsuit brought by a woman walking her dog, I'm not sure what that's referring to, who was absolutely no standing to bring such a suit, must be dropped immediately. Nothing should be allowed to interfere with this construction, which is on budget and substantially ahead of schedule. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald J. Trump. So yes, immediately he goes out from the start. Last night in a press release, and then this morning, this is the reason why the ballroom needs to exist, which I feel is very, very convenient. Very convenient. Because he's been trying to sell this ballroom for the longest. And then, lo and behold, he has another breach, security breach, which they have argued was a success because they apprehended the suspect in a record time, supposedly. But the fact that he even got in there was a security failure. But they're not even addressing that, like as if that's just the way it is. It wasn't a security failure because we didn't even set up the security for that. So how could it be a failure if we didn't set it up? Just absolutely crazy. And then you have Caroline Leavitt come out in a press thing earlier. Not only did she at one point argue for this same argument, but then she also talks about the rhetoric from the left and all these things. She names senators and other media figures and stuff that have said quote unquote things which were very vague and like not even that harsh and all whatsoever in there in like some sort of opposition to Trump or something that the Trump administration has done. Like it wasn't even, they weren't even that harsh. And she was acting like this was such horrible, like insightful rhetoric. The worst one, arguably, was the last one where someone stating that we were at war, like the left is at war with the right, which whatever. I mean, but like uh Kyle Kalinske states here on X, and all the talk about all the left and how they incite and all the name calling and we need to turn down the rhetoric. He states here, points out, Trump has called the left enemy within, scum, terrorist, vermin, radical, lunatics, demonic, evil, fascist, Marxist, communist, garbage, the enemy of the people, the enemy within, treasonous, animals, degenerates, Jew haters, and lowlifes. These are the words that Trump himself has called anyone on the left, or right, quite frankly, anyone who just opposes him, regardless of whether they're on the left or the right. So he's basically like, shut the fuck up about in smug closet cases. Like you're arguing for something where Trump is 10 times worse. So to argue that you need that, the left needs to tone it down. How about you start with your leader? He is the one who spits the most vile, argumentatively like insightful things. On damn near a daily basis. We're talking about a guy who literally called for or threatened obliterating a civilization. But the right, and he is not being insightful. It's absolute garbage. It's crazy. And this would be, honestly, the first time of the assassination attempts that in one that does actually look like they potentially are on the left was a left action. The first one was he was a right winger, a former Trump, from a family of Trump supporters, formerly even supported Trump, but then saw things that he didn't agree with and made actions against him. If we want to act, look at it as genuine, although people have brought up here recently that that whole thing looked like it was a setup. Then you have the one in Mar-a-Lago on the was it Mar-a-Lago or wherever the golfing attempt. Again, someone who wasn't really affiliated right or left, I think, in his case. This was the only one that you could actually argue was quote unquote a left winger, if you want to say. He there is supposed evidence that he was registered Democrat, had donated to Blue Act once for $25 and apparently support for Harris. And so far it's come out that in conversation, interview, or whatever or interrogation with family members, that they were stating that he, had some pretty harsh rhetoric here lately and didn't agree with stuff the administration was doing. He clearly in his manifesto stated that he just, he could no longer allow for someone who is considered a pedophile, rapist, terrorist to continue, and nothing be done about it. And while I don't condone violence as an answer, and never would, never will, because I've stated that over and over again, violence doesn't solve it. If anything, it gives them more ammo to keep going and keep doing. You've got to defeat them through laws, through the ballot box, through, democratic means. So it's not, violence is not going to do anything but embolden them and give them ammo to attack the opposition, as we're seeing. So it just doesn't help. It doesn't fix anything. But I do understand the sentiment that you feel like something just has to, this kind of actions and people like this, the Epstein class, the elites, and all the things that they have done and all the things that they are apparently willing to do to protect and defend their corruption and their just evil ways. I can understand the sentiment of somebody reaching this, point of something has to be done, and if I've got to be the first one to do it, so be it. Whether it's a success or a fail. I'm tired of this administration going around acting like everybody's okay with what they're doing. Pretending like everybody's okay. Pretending like this is what the American people asked for. I could understand that sentiment. And what would drive somebody to that point? Especially when they felt like they were defending or giving sort of retribution for people who were, children who were raped or killed or whatever, as a last act of, probably in his mind, decency. I'm going to leave with this, though. I know this is a long video, but I'm going to leave with this. This is from Canada Hates Trump on X. But this guy does a very good, it's interesting how he lays this out. And just check it out.
We do have breaking news out of Washington, D.C.
No one cares. That's the real story here. Literally, no one cares. Everyone thinks this is fake. Because of course they do. Because everything is fake. Everything is spectacle and theatrics, which isn't a new thing in the world of politics and media, but the laziness and lack of seriousness with which this circus of an administration is operating has certainly made apathy a mainstream response to it. I mean, he bombed a girls' school in Iran and hasn't owned up to it yet. Of course no one cares that someone allegedly tried to off him. He teamed up with a genocidal maniac to start a war that will not only cost thousands of lives, it will also collapse the entire world economy. For no reason. Why would we care? He has rolled back every conceivable protection for the environment and keeps spreading anti-science propaganda so his friends can make a little bit more money. Why would we care about yet another half-assed assassination attempt? He has done all in his power to destroy the entire Western world order and strengthened Russia and China in the process. Oh no, someone tried to shoot the president again. Just as his poll numbers are tanking. Oh no, what a coincidence. Everything he touches, everyone he surrounds himself with, are fake. Fake lips, fake tits, fake gold, fake pools, fake Bible verses, for crying out loud, false promises to voters, false prophets in his cabinet, false flags for the cameras, and if I may say so, a somewhat subpar acting from the cast this time.
I just want to go find Susan.
What a great idea, Erica. You should go home and stay there. No one cares anymore. And maybe that's the point, I don't know. Not to convince you of anything, not to win, just to make reality so exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
So exhausting to hold on to that we just give in and play along. Or maybe it's just a sad attempt at getting support and funding for his ridiculous ballroom. It's probably, that's probably it, yeah. This is the end of news.
And he's not wrong. There is a part of this is like, well, I mean, what do you expect? And when asked the question of why do you think you keep getting attacked, you know, he plays the well, you know, I've done studied assassinations. I studied the word assassination. And he's come up with, you know, it's those who are doing, you know, those who do are the ones that are most likely assassinated. Those who do so much, you know, stuff, do so much. Because some people just don't like it. And we're just doing so much. The president is doing so much. Regular people make assassination attempts not because you are such an amazing president doing so good for the people. That's not, I just don't find that reasonable of a thing. The CIA or government might, you know, consider that. But regular ass people, they're not making attempts on presidents' lives because the president is such a good president. It's not really a thing. People are upset and make attempts on people that are actually literally, in their opinion, destroying the fabric of the nation. That are actually enacting in a horrible way. That's what angers people to the point of wanting to off somebody. Not, oh, he's such a good person, I must kill him. No, that's just, it's not really a thing. And I'm sorry, you're just not going to convince me of that. I'm such a good president. I'm doing so much good for the country. And sometimes people just can't handle all the good that I'm doing, all the good that's being done. They just can't take it. They're haters. They're anti-American. They're anti-Christian. They're anti-Trump. So they try to off me. No, that's not a thing. It should be revealing that this is the third attempt on his life, and it's either all been fake attempts, or it's because you are just that bad at being president. I'm just saying. You're just not that well liked. It's one or the other. It ain't because you're such a good president. And if it is, then it's not regular ass people doing it. It's a setup. I'm just saying. Anyways, thank you very much for joining me. Let me know what you think. And until next time, peace. ClearTalk. I'm out.